be placing these trained felines on the front lines of the war.
Right.
Okay, this is Jimmy for Pulp EDU's radio talk show, Load, where we talk about pretty much anything that is interesting, including, apparently, militarily trained cats.
It's a good idea whose time has come.
Agreed. I'm here with my partner, Jimmy, an expert in a variety of fields,
Including cat intelligence.
So now we're on to our next topic.
Acid-wash genes.
No, but close. Antisocial personality disorder.
A weighty subject.
And a timely one, considering all of the jerks who seem to be running rampant out there.
I'm not sure jerk is the word I'd use to describe someone with a diagnosed mental illness.
Oh, really? Well, you seem to be an expert in the area.
My sister was diagnosed.
The hot one?
No, you never met her. She killed 3 people when she was in her 20s. They have her locked up in Kansas.
Bloody Kansas.
Not quite the illusion I'd use, but yes, that state.
The state of Kansas. I've never been. I hear they have good hot dogs there. So tell me about your sister.
Do you really want to know about this, or do you just want to...
No, I do. Please continue. What was she like?
Well, when she was little, she had enuresis.
What is that? Kidney disease?
No, she wet the bed.
How embarrassing. No wonder she ended up killing people. Did you tease her about it?
My brother did. Once.
Oh, yeah? Just the one time?
Just the one time. She also messed around with our cat a lot.
Speaking of cats, what did she do? Pull its tail? Throw it up the stairs?
It was sitting on the gas stove and she turned the burner on.
Jesus.
She set a lot of things on fire.
How... Did your parents...
Oh, they knew. I mean, they had to know.
What
They
did
had her in therapy pretty much after she set fire to the cat. Didn't stop her. She burned out our backyard one summer. My neighbors caught her shooting squirrels with a BB gun.
Classic symptoms of a psychopath, I'd say.
No, a psychopath is far worse. It's like the next step.
The Mike Tyson of mental illness.
Sure.
As compared to the mere Sugar Ray Leonard. So, really, what's the difference?
Well, I mean, look. Shelley, my sister's name is Shelley. Shelley could be really charming. She'd flatter you, tell jokes. When we were little, she got me and my brother into all kinds of trouble. Shoplifting, stealing. The police had a separate filing cabinet just for us. She was a kleptomaniac, too. If anybody was ever missing something, we'd just look in her room.
So she made you steal?
No. She could just be really, really persuasive. When we were kids, she was my older sister, you know. And she just had a way of getting us to do what she wanted us to do.
Couldn't you just say no?
Well, after a while, we did. John, my younger brother, he was better at it than me. After the first time she got him in trouble for stealing candy, he never did anything she told him to. He became her first target. I was a little closer to her, so I tended to go along, but after a while...
When you say target, do you mean she'd steal from you guys?
Yeah, and worse.
How so?
She'd bully us, berate us. She beat John up until he was old enough to fight back. Then she moved on to... Well, she burned his arms with a car lighter once.
Didn't your parents...
Oh, that was it for them. Shelley was 16 then, John was 13, and she was getting worse. She didn't care about anybody but herself. She'd been put in jail for drinking. Her stealing was getting worse. She had a caseworker. She was in alternative school. She was sleeping around with half of her classmates. It was a nightmare. If we ever tried to argue with her about anything, and we argued about everything, she'd get this superior tone in her voice. Even if she wasn't making any sense, she'd act like we were idiots. And she'd lie about everything, especially if we were winning the argument. She'd just make stuff up to make herself sound intelligent.
What happened with the cigarette lighter?
Oh, it was nothing big. I mean, her doing it was big, but it was the final straw for my parents. It happened in the car. We were going somewhere all together, I can't remember where, and Shelley was arguing with John about some stupid thing, and John caught her in a lie, and Shelley's face just went entirely blank. And she just leaned over and pulled out the cigarette lighter and pushed it into John's arm. And it was fully charged. She must have pressed it in without us seeing it. I guess she'd planned it.
This is interesting, but it's depressing.
Sorry.
We should have just kept on talking about army cats. I'm assuming they sent her away after that.
Yeah, but she came back a few months later. She didn't have too much contact with us after that. We pretty much shut her out. They had her on meds then, but I think she was just. I don't think she was taking them. I think she was just faking it. I mean, you have to remember, she was really, really smart. She knew if she did anything else, they'd send her back, so she just played along. She totally left us alone, though. Finished high school, went on to college. I think my parents were just glad to be rid of her. And 2 years later, she stabbed her roommates to death.
Yeah. Your family's messed up.